everyone, Leslie Cornwell, Midwifery Business Consultation. This topic I want to go over are myths about starting your own midwifery business. I hear from so many midwives and comments and emails. The classic themes: I don't have the time, I have a young family, I can't be on call 24/7, I don't have the money, I have never started a business before, I don't have any background in running this type of practice, and what you're asking of me I just can't do. So I want to break down these myths step by step because so much of our myths and misunderstandings are in our mind. They're excuses we tell ourselves, or truly we believe them, but I want to help to show how they're not entirely accurate. So the first one I hear most often is, I don't have the money to start a business. You do need initial capital to start a business. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's large. It really depends on your business plan, but the initial capital doesn't have to come from your own direct pocket. The initial capital, once you learn about business and you learn about investing and creating business plans and proposals to put to investors, you can get partners that you have the knowledge and skills and the idea that can make another person money. They have the money in cash, but they don't have the time to start a business. So you pool each other's resources together and you can make a better outcome. So that's the biggest thing is, don't just let, well, I barely have any money, I live paycheck to paycheck, we've got a young family, I've got kids to get through college. Don't let the mindset of I directly don't have the money can make a business possible. I don't have the time. That is an excuse so many people make for exercise, for good nutrition, for prioritizing goals and wishes and vacations and self-care. We always use I don't have time. So using the comment I don't have time is really saying this isn't important enough to me compared to XYZ. I would rather watch this movie on Friday night versus getting my business going. I would rather eat this donut than eat some broccoli. So we are telling ourselves, I don't have time, I don't have this as a priority, and that's okay. But I want people to acknowledge when and look at it in general. When you say I don't have time to something, step back and say, really, this, I've got so many hours in a day and this isn't high enough on my priority list compared to other things I'm currently doing. So you just need to figure out, where is it on your priority list? What on your schedule from day to day can be rearranged, can be cut out, that isn't truly as high of a priority, you've just made it a habit for your day, especially the exercise part. There's so much research out there that if you exercise 20 minutes in a day, you're going to be far more productive throughout the day. You're going to sleep better. You're going to be more focused. You're not going to spend so much time reading something over and over again. You're going to create so much more value for yourself because your mind is going to just be on top par. And you're going to feel better. It's going to show. So I really want to stress the comment when people say, I don't have time. It's really, I don't really want to prioritize this in my daily routine right now, and that's okay, but just realizing what that myth is about. I have a young family. I hear that often. I have 3 young kids. I have an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 1-year-old, and it is harder having a young family, being young and single and not having those unpredictabilities of young children. Have some advantages, but it's not impossible. Having a good support system, creating a business model that supports having a young family. So being on call 24/7 for a home birth practice is much harder with a young family than if you get 2 midwives together and you share call, similar to a nurse midwife working in the hospital. You have shared call, you get a babysitter during the time you're working. So creating a business model that fits your needs as a young family. It may not be clinical practice. You may, with a young family, want to do consultation services. You may want to do stuff that's not revolving around birth. You may want to do GYN services, pelvic floor, breastfeeding support, sexual health, that you can make your office hours 3 days a week, 9 to 5, and you can have a day for administration. So you can add more structure in your schedule similar to a W-2 job if you prioritize it and make your business plan accordingly. So when I hear I have a young family, it's okay if that's just your priority right now, but understanding that there's a lot of creative ways to make a business plan where your family is still a good chunk of your priority and you can separate a work-life balance. It is possible. I hear a lot, I don't have a business degree, I don't have any background in business, I'm a midwife. We don't do midwife classes. We're great at being midwives and taking care of women. And I 100% agree. I have ran businesses for years, not just in midwifery, real estate, education, independent contracting. I've worked for other people. So you can run a practice, you can run your own business, but you have a learning curve. Just because you don't have a degree in business does not mean you can't run a business. Most businesses and owners of businesses have no background in business whatsoever. Most of them are learning from a mentor or just experience. So my goal with Midwifery Business Consultation is that families and midwives are getting an advantage of a good business foundation, templates, tools, resources to help with that learning curve. Even though you don't have a business degree, you still, I think it's very important to learn about business, learn about financing, make a good, strong foundation for your practice before you get going. But you don't have to have a business degree to be a successful business owner. That's a giant myth. We talked about it already, but like I want a life outside of my business that's similar to that 24-hour call, young family mindset. And you can. It's how you structure your business, how you write your business plan. What are your short-term and long-term goals? If you want to have a work-life balance, and that's really important when your missions and values of serving women and their families, make sure your business structure supports that. Make sure you have the proper resources, people on your team that can be the experts in those things and be sharing call with you, doing your administration side so you don't have to do it after hours. You have to set up your business plan to support what you're looking for. So the last one I always hear often, and especially nurse midwife new graduates, it's really hard as a nurse midwife to get a job without experience. It's this vicious cycle those first 2 years. Certified professional midwives, traditional midwives, direct entry midwives naturally know I'm going to start my own practice when I graduate. That's already ingrained in them. They don't work in the hospital setting. They already know they're going to do their own private practice. But for nurse midwives, most nurse midwives are planning on joining a hospital team, joining a doctor's office. Starting their own private practice is pretty rare for a new graduate nurse midwife to be thinking about. And I want to encourage nurse midwives, doesn't matter if you're brand new graduate or you've been practicing for 30 years, if you want to start a business, you can do it. There's direct things you need to be prepared and work through in the process, getting a good business mentor. If you're a new graduate, having a mentor within your practice, an experienced midwife on the team that you can bounce ideas off of and learn from. There's so much potential with new graduate midwives starting their own private practices versus trying to find all these jobs across the country that may or may not exist for a new graduate midwife in the hospital setting. So these are just a list of typical myths I hear from midwives, and they're mental barriers. Some are realistic if you don't do the proper planning. Yes, we do not have a business degree, but if you have the right mindset and this is important to you and you want to create your own business, you will learn, you will do self-teaching, you will follow our resources, you'll read books, you'll take seminars, you'll do tax courses, you'll get a business partner that has that background. If you don't want anything to do with being the business running decision maker, make sure you get a good partner with your team that can do that part for you. You can always resource out the things you don't want to learn, but it's important if you're going to be a business partner to at least understand the basics. So if there is a discussion of big decisions being made, you want to be able to have a better understanding of the accounting, the budgets, the long-term decisions that will make. So thank you and look forward to seeing you at more.